Welcome back. Today we're answering a big, urgent question. Can Ukraine retake all territory lost to Russia? That idea was put back in the headlines this week after President Trump told President Zelensky he believes Kyiv could win back every lost mile. I'm your name. This is a clear, evidence-based breakdown, military, political, economic, and diplomatic, so you can decide what's realistic, what is, and what it would take. On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, President Trump told President Zelensky and later posted publicly that he now thinks Ukraine could reclaim all territory lost to Russia since 2014, including the 2022 full-scale invasion gains. That's a sharp rhetorical pivot compared with earlier comments suggesting Kyiv may have to cede territory to end the war. Zelensky welcomed the support, but analysts quickly noted words don't automatically translate into policy or weapons flows. Before we evaluate feasibility, we need to know the battlefield reality. Over the past year, frontline changes have been incremental. Russian forces have made some localized gains, and Ukraine has continued counterattacks in places, but the fighting has become a grinding, attritional war with costly advances for both sides. Independent battlefield monitors and think tanks say the front lines are heavily fortified, urbanized in places, and that Russia has consolidated control over large swaths of Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia regions, plus Crimea remains under Russian control. The Institute for the Study of War's most recent assessments show the fighting is dynamic but costly, and that large, rapid breakthroughs are rare. All territory is a tall, very specific goal. It means Ukraine would have to 1. Liberate occupied areas in the east and south, cities, towns, thousands of square miles. Force Russian units to withdraw or defeat them in combat. Re-establish control and security over liberated populations. Neutralize Russian long-range strike capability and air defenses to prevent counterstrikes. Let's unpack the main constraints. Russian defensive depth and terrain. Much of the front is layered with minefields, prepared defensive positions, and urban strongpoints. Attacking these head-on without overwhelming superiority usually means heavy casualties. ISW and other analysts show Russia has dug in and reinforced key lines. Force ratios and logistics. To retake ground at scale, Ukraine would likely need sustained superiority in armor, artillery, air support, and critical logistics. That means not just intermittent deliveries of weapons, but continuous, predictable supplies, tanks, artillery rounds, ammunition production, trained crews, engineers, and mobility assets. US and allies have provided large amounts of assistance so far, but scaling to the level of a full reconquest is a different order of magnitude. Air and sea denial. Crimea and parts of southern Ukraine are within reach of Russian long-range fires and anti-access systems. Any Ukrainian offensive would need to mitigate those threats through suppression of enemy air defenses, naval operations, or long-range strike capabilities. That takes time and specialized munitions. In short, tactically possible in places, operationally very demanding, and politically risky at scale.